Hello everyone, welcome to Carrow Road. What about this for timing? Definitely completely deliberate. The coaches, the two remaining coaches, are now about to leave for Reading for the 5:30 kickoff, of course. Norwich live on Sky Sports this afternoon. Not so many going, but then I guess with a game that's live on telly you can kind of appreciate that. There's Coach 1. Had blacked out windows. They're all waving. I can see them waving. Had we got onto Facebook properly earlier, we'd have been on that, Coach. Not travelling, obviously, but at least talking to them. But we'll have to wait for another away game, won't it, Pad? So we'll have to.
Yeah, as I said, you know, what's a few gremlins? All makes the occasion.
Yeah, that's what they say anyway. Thanks for joining us on the PinkUn Facebook page or watching on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We'll be heading off to Reading after this very recording. We've got Dave Freezer doing some wonderful Steadicam work on the camera there. He's delighted. The way he's fashioned that tripod is something. We'll hopefully get it on camera soon. Paddy, travelling to Reading. It'll be interesting being the last ones on. I suppose we'll get to see what most people do today. Are we at the point where we're looking properly at what the rest of the division does, or...?
Not for me, no, not really. As much as the head coach is clearly an advocate of checking league tables and progress. No, I don't think so. I think it's more stay in your bubble. Take a leaf out of Tim Close's book yesterday. It's still okay. They've got 5 league clean sheets and they've got a lot of kudos off the back of that in the last few days. But let's make it 6. Let's make it 7. Let's make it 8. You know, don't feel by any stretch they've arrived now and they're a serious contender. There's still a lot of work ahead, and it's about hunger again. Closer, numerous occasions referenced that word, hunger from the young lads, hunger from the experienced players, as a group, as a football club. And so, as long as they stay in that mindset, then I think that'll take care of itself in terms of where they might end up and who they might be fighting with and what they're aiming to do at the end of the season. Just stay in the moment, go to Reading today, continue in the same vein, then take a pause over the international break.
Get your questions in over Facebook because we'll be able to see them, providing the connection's still going. still going. We had a quick chat about team selection, didn't we, on the Facebook page yesterday? Yeah. I've done a little graphic. You love my little graphics, yeah, I'm sure. Now, this one is actually pretty straightforward because I think it's essentially the team that played up at Middlesbrough, yeah, with then Josh on the bench. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I don't know if there are many others available, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could. I think I said yesterday, didn't I? I think I wouldn't be at all unhappy to see the same 11 go again. Again, we touched on workloads and being mindful of managing bodies and what have you, but ultimately the majority of those lads after today have got 2 weeks off in terms of game cycle. So go full tilt today with your 11 who performed so magnificently at Middlesbrough, so resolute, full of confidence, togetherness, team spirit, everything you'd like to see and are seeing at the minute. Go again, lads, put in another performance of that ilk, and then you can rest up for a few days. So yeah, and that allied to the fact that, as we found out yesterday, Oliveira's still struggling. He can't really do 90 minutes. No Stiepermann today, no Vrancic. Wes has obviously got a slight issue with his knee. There's not many options for him to change it other than maybe Josh Murphy coming in.
It's interesting. I'm sorry. It's interesting, isn't it? Because ahead of Tuesday, it's pretty much the same kind of fitness issues. Yet we were thinking, God, this is going to be really tough, blah blah blah. And this time it's like, oh well, it's okay because this group of players managed to win last time, so it'll be fine. Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, ultimately, everything that we feel, I think, as media and supporters, is framed by the results on the pitch. And ultimately, if they go to Middlesbrough and do the business, then quite rightly you can expect them to produce again at, in my mind, not as exacting an opponent to go and play, particularly the form they're in at the minute. Player for player as well. Are Middlesbrough inferior to Reading? No. So if they can do it and have shown that they can do it in that environment, then there's nothing really to say why Reading would be a tougher test today. So yeah, as I say, I think this is a perfect time to play Reading because, you know, they're not in the form they were at the back end of last season when they got to Wembley. Yapstam, unsurprisingly, is coming in for a bit of flack from large sections of their support. Excellent time to go and play them.
We had quite a chat about Reading yesterday as well. Is there a key battle on the pitch, or is there something that you're going to be keeping your eye out with the actual action that happens on the?
Not so much for me. Although Farke, now you say that, did reference Sonny Aluko. He thought he was maybe a sign that they are one of the best equipped squads in the division. I'm not sure I would share his opinion on Aluko. He's never really that impressed me hugely. I think he was good down here, to be fair, when Fulham came here on Easter Good Friday, wasn't it, last year? But ultimately, what he is a very physical, powerful, dynamic type of centre forward. So if you're looking for a key matchup, and it kind of flows into what the dominant theme is at the minute with this Norwich group of players, is keeping clean sheets, and two centre-backs in Zimmerman and Closer, who really have mastered every opponent that's been put in front of them on this run. So that, for me, is probably one of the key areas. You know, if Norwich's centre-backs dominate the Reading attackers, then you would think there's enough for Norwich going forward that they can pose this Reading team problems. Yeah,
brilliant stuff. Okay, well, shall we have a little listen to some of what Daniel Farke and Tim Closer had to say at Colney yesterday?
I think he's in a really very important part of his career. He's not 18 anymore, he's 22, and right now these years are very important if he's able to bring his career on another level. And we are there to help him, and we bring him to the door, and we explain him how to get through the door, and we give him all our support. But he's the guy who is to go through the door. And if he understands, he will have a brilliant future, and we try everything to help him and to bring him back on this level, because he has all the ability to be an outstanding player. But it's up to him to do this with a professional attitude, with a right working style, and with the right professionalism to know what it means to work for this club and for this fans. And it's up to him to prove this.
I'm always talking about this sport, but this is just one important thing for me, just to keep everyone in there, and let no one falling out, no one, drowning. If there is someone, just maybe, for example, Josh, last couple of days, he fell out of the boat, But that's not the problem for us as a team, because we pick him up and we talk to him, and he knows exactly what to do. And that's the most important thing, that we're not here to judge the players. We're here to help them to improve, to let them think of what have I done wrong and what can I do better. And that's a good thing. And that was really just in this situation with Josh now, you can see that the team spirit is very good.
Right, we're back on then. Dave Freezer has joined us. Thanks, Paddy, doing the sterling camera work. We've got a couple of messages here as well. Craig Brown says Norwich need Ipswich and Borough and Villa to all lose today. Why not? Tony Bispum, sorry Tony, reckons it'll be a 2-0 win to Norwich. Well, that'd be good. We'd take that, obviously, and another clean sheet. Goodness me. Edward Ivans hoping for another great win, another win. Great showing Tuesday. Let's do the same again. Like the fact Daniel Farke is willing to bring the players down to earth, which there was a bit of that the other day too. And Dre Wilson 2-1 to Norwich. If you're on the buses, have a safe trip, of course. Dave, shall we have a quick look at the table as it stands so far? Do you make much of this at the moment?
I mean, Cardiff being up there is impressive. I stumbled across some passing stats for the division, and at the time of looking, although that was before Tuesday night, they were by far the lowest passers in the division. So what that says, I'm not sure, but obviously they had a cracking result over Leeds the other night. I mean, you're starting to see some of the better teams up there. I think if you look at the bottom half, that's probably a bit more telling at the moment. Bolton look like they're in real trouble already, don't they? So
the pressure, of course, Simon Grayson's under at Sunderland is epitomised there by the table. If we just have a look at this weekend's fixtures, of course, a lot of these will have been and gone by the time Norwich actually kick off. Preston, Alec Neil against Sunderland, and Simon Grayson going against his former club. You'd expect Villa to win at home to Bolton. Bulls travelling to Burton will be interesting course, and Derby, who have been fairly erratic so far, they head to the leaders Cardiff. We also saw Fulham win 2-1 at QPR last night, despite late scares. They did pretty well there. And you look at the table, it does emphasise that Norwich do get 3 points today. Just what an impact that could be on where they sit in the table and where they look going forward.
Yeah, Hull Birmingham is an interesting one. Did I say Birmingham, didn't it? Yeah, Hull Birmingham. I mean, Hull, it's not working for them under Slutsky. Really, if he were to lose that, Birmingham look to have picked up a little bit under Lee Carsley, don't they? So obviously Hull come here after the international break. If they were to lose that one at home as well, then I guess there's a risk that Slutsky might not still be in charge by the time that they come here. But some interesting fixtures today. Villa at home to Bolton. I mean, they're starting to build a bit of momentum as well. And we all know the strength they've got in that squad, and Steve Bruce knows how to get a team that are upwardly mobile in this division. So if they win again today, then I think you can probably consider them pushing into the race by that point.
Yeah, absolutely. The interesting thing with Hull is they haven't won on the road in 14 months.
Really?
Guess what their next away game is? Carrow Road will be ready for that one. A couple more messages. A lot of positivity here. Simon Meadows, very optimistic we will get another good result today given current form, the opposition, and how together the squad is, which was a recurring theme. Paul, good, these names. Paul, a 2-0 and another clean sheet, Yellows. Nigel Springle, 0-1 referee assisted. I think you may be recalling one there from a few years ago.
I had to do him again last week, didn't it?
He did, yes. Spencer Burton's going for a 2-0 Norwich win. Luke Rutland wants Wes Houlihan to start, and then Norwich will win. Could you do that with the way James Maddison's playing?
I wouldn't. The positivity scares me, as always with Norwich. I mean, we travelled to Middlesbrough not necessarily in too much hope, did we? And you know, nobody was really predicting a win before that game, but now they've got it, all of a sudden everyone's starting to believe. But you don't want that to get into overconfidence, and as you pointed out there, one of those sort of along came Norwich stats potentially against Hull. Reading equally, it's not been going well for them at all. They've hardly scored a goal. I think they haven't scored a goal in the first half all season.
That's correct.
So,
yeah, the only team not to do it.
You know, that it's got all those sort of telltale signs of there's danger signs for Norwich to watch out for. But I'd be confident if Norwich can just keep them quiet in the first half, maybe. You know, especially if they get a goal ahead again, I feel fairly confident that they can hold on.
What I think we've seen, and we've seen it here before, when Norwich have struggled, everyone's focused on this being the game that they get 3 points. And I get the impression everyone at Reading is like, this is the game where we get 3 points. So either they do, and it'll ease their mood, or they don't, there'll be serious trouble and Norwich kick on. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, you asked Paddy about any sort of interesting battles on the pitch you're looking forward to. I'd quite like to see Yannick Wildskirt up against Tyler Blackett, because I know he's come through at Manchester United, but I've never been particularly impressed by him. And you know, Yannick's still got a lot of improving to do. He needs to get his head up and he needs to improve his final ball, but his pace and power, I would expect him to get past Blackett.
It's a shame we're not going to get to see a full Nelson Oliveira versus the Reading fans, because I thought that would have been quite fun. But there we go. We'll see how that pans out.
I wouldn't want to risk Nelson today unless you absolutely have to, because that's clearly a problem, that groin, isn't it? So don't want to damage it.
At least he's not going anywhere in the international break, which is almost certainly what Nelson isn't saying, but there we go. Right, did I get a prediction out of you, Dave? Go on.
Go
on.
I'm going to go 2-2. I think we'll see some goals, and I think I'd be happy with that.
2-1 Norwich win. I've gone crazy. There we go. Top work, Paddy. Thank you very much. Cheers, Dave. Don't forget PinkUn.com for all the build-up, analysis, live coverage of the game too. It's your perfect second screen to that Sky coverage if you're lucky and fortunate enough to have Sky, or you're down the pub, of course. So you know where to find us, PinkUn.com, and we'll all have a safe trip. Have a safe trip if you're travelling now, and we'll see you up at the Matchday, which I think is the correct way of pronouncing it. Until then, a very goodbye.